Okay, in this video I'm going to explain to you how you can lengthen a board. Okay, there is no way to stretch the board, so there has to be a way of lengthening the board because sometimes you need a board that's longer than what you can get a hold of. Okay, so there are two ways to extend the length of a board. Number one would be a splice where you cut this V notch in here, and the other method would where you cut the board at a diagonal, and then you'd put a sheet of plywood on here and staple and glue it to make the board longer. Okay, so how long do these cuts have to be? Okay, the length of these cuts is usually 3 times the width of the board. Okay, so whatever the width of the board is, then this cut would be 3 times that length. So if you're working with a 2x6, you got 6 inches wide, so this then would be 18 inches from here to here. So you have to go 18 inches deep. Okay, and the same thing here. This angled cut needs to be 3 times the width of this board. Okay, so if you're working with a 6-inch board, then this would have to be 18 inches from that point, from this point here to right there. You would have to be 3 times that length. And then the plywood, you should have at least a foot of plywood past each end. All right, so if it's 18 inches, then you have to add 2 feet to that. So 18 plus 24 would be 42 inches for the plywood. Okay, and then you could make sure you don't want it to go anywhere, so put some liquid nail on there. Use 1/2 inch OSB to cut it, and then staple it with either a 1/4 inch crown, or if you have 7/16 crown, whatever, you would just staple it or nail it, whichever you have available. Okay, so here's an example of a splice. You can see where the splice goes from this point right here to this point right here. This is a 2x6, so this distance then would be 18 inches. You have to cut this V notch so that this board fits in here nice and snug, and then if you see from the side, you put nails, you nail it through the side. Again, you want to put some liquid nail in there on both sides before you shove it in, so you get a nice solid splice. The other method, so I cut this a little short so you can see, but the OSB is nailed on over the top, and if this was real length, then it would be up here, and then liquid nail and then staple the OSB on, because here you can see where the other end of the splice is right here, and you can do one side or both. I mean, if it's on the gable end, you can only do it on one side, but if it's on any other rafter, you could actually do it on both sides to reinforce it. So that is 2 different methods for extending the length of a board. Okay, all right.